Hello again, cosmic travellers. I am the Cosmic Cat, witness to myths, observer of patterns, narrator of the stories that shaped your ancestors and still shape you. We have journeyed far together already, have not we, who watched chaos become cosmos, witnessed Gaia birth the Titans from loneliness, saw Cronus castrate his father to free his siblings, then devour his own children to prevent his prophesied fall. We walked through 10 years of war, the Titanomachy, as Zeus and his freed siblings fought the old order. We saw monsters liberated, legendary weapons forged, and reality itself reshaped by cosmic violence. The war is won. The Titans imprisoned in Tartarus. The old order has fallen. Now comes the harder question. What do you do after the revolution? 6 gods, 1 cosmos, and the uncomfortable realization that destroying the old system is easier than building a new one. Let me show you what happened next, when the heroes had to become rulers, when siblings had to defy infinity, when victory revealed itself to be merely the beginning of new problems. This is where it gets interesting. Mount Olympus, the highest peak, the throne of the new order, but thrones mean nothing if you have not decided who sits on them. Winning a war together is one thing. Dividing the spoils, that is when alliances get tested. Zeus, youngest of the 6, never swallowed, raised free, assumed leadership naturally. After all, he freed his siblings. He organized the rebellion. He retrieved the weapons. He led the charge. But Poseidon, second youngest, who spent conscious years in his father's belly, had his own ideas about authority. And Hades, eldest of them all, who endured the longest imprisonment, wondered why birth order should be reversed by circumstance. I watched them and saw every family business, every revolutionary government, every partnership puff for the shared struggle ends. Who leads now that we are not fighting? Who gets the biggest share? How do we honor everyone's contribution without creating new hierarchies? The cosmos needed structure. The ancient Pythagoreans called this diakosmesis, the ordering of the universe. From chaos to cosmos requires not just creation, but organization. 3 brothers, 3 great realms, the sky and upper air, home of weather, birds, the realm of light and authority, the seas, covering most of the earth, powerful, tempestuous, source of all life, the underworld, the realm of the dead, the hidden wealth of minerals and gems, the depths below. All 3 were essential, all 3 were powerful, but they were not equal in the eyes of those who would claim them, and therein lay the problem. To avoid bloodshed between brothers, prevent the new order from immediately devouring itself, they chose the oldest method of all. They let fate decide. 3 lots, 1 for sky, 1 for sea, 1 for the underworld beneath. The earth itself and Mount Olympus would remain common ground, shared territory, belonging to all gods. But each brother would rule one of the 3 great kingdoms absolutely. The Greeks loved this method, kleroi, the drawing of lots, because it removed human will from the equation. No arguing. No politics. No eldest son privileges or youngest son resentments. Pure chance, or pure fate, depending on how you see it. The Pythagoreans understood. Sometimes the fairest division is the one no one chooses. When you remove personal desire from destiny, you invite the divine to decide. Of course, fair and satisfying are not always the same thing. They reached forward. Zeus drew first, the privilege of leadership, or perhaps just alphabetical fate. The sky, the upper air, and the throne of Olympus. Zeus would rule from above, command of the weather, hold authority over gods and mortals alike. The scepter and the lightning bolt, symbols of sovereignty itself. Did chance give him what he wanted, or did he want it because chance gave it to him? With Zeus, it is hard to say. Poseidon drew the seas, the oceans, the rivers, the waters that cover most of the earth. A magnificent kingdom, essential, powerful, the source of storms and sea monsters, earthquakes and abundance. But not the throne, not Olympus, not the highest seat. He would be called Earth Shaker, Wave Tamer, but not King of Gods. Second place prizes still prizes, but they never feel quite the same. And Hades, eldest brother, who suffered longest in darkness, drew the underworld, the realm of the dead, the keeper of souls, lord of the invisible. Zeus claimed Olympus, built his palace in the clouds, gathered his symbols of authority. The scepter, representing lawful rule, the thunderbolt, representing raw power, the eagle, representing vision from above, seeing all. From the highest peak, Zeus could see everything, all mortal affairs, all divine movements, nothing hidden from the sky god's gaze. He declared himself Zeus Panhellenios, Zeus of all the Greeks, father of gods and men, the arbiter of justice, the wielder of fate, and one by one, the other gods fell into his system. Athena, goddess of wisdom, born from his head, his favorite daughter, Apollo, god of light, his son, keeper of prophecy, Artemis, the huntress, his daughter, lady of the wild, Ares, god of war, his son, though they rarely saw eye to eye. I watched him settle into power and thought, here we go again, the liberator becoming the authority. A revolutionary building the new hierarchy. A young god who fought against his father's control, now controlling everything he can see. He swore he would be different. They always do. But Zeus had never been imprisoned, never been powerless, never learned the lesson his siblings learn in their father's belly, what it feels like to be controlled absolutely. So he ruled with strength, with vision, with genuine care for order and justice, and also with jealousy, possessiveness, paranoia about threats to his power, a wandering eye that would cause infinite suffering, a temper that would shake the heavens. The pattern continues. Different god, same crown, new problems wearing old faces. Poseidon took to his kingdom with fierce pride. If Zeus ruled the sky, Poseidon would rule everything beneath. The seas covered more of the earth than land. His domain was vast, mysterious, impossible to fully see from above. Earthshaker, and they called him. When angered, he could drown cities, crack continents, summon storms that swallowed fleets. His trident commanded not just water, but the bones of the earth itself. Earthquakes were his signature, reminders that Zeus's authority ended where the deep began. He gathered his own court. Amphitrite, queen of the seas. The Nereids, his daughters. Triton, his son and herald. The hippocampoi, horsefish hybrids, pulled his chariot, a kingdom within a kingdom, separate, sovereign. But he never quite forgot that Zeus sat higher, that when the gods gathered, Zeus spoke first, that mortals prayed to Zeus as king, and Poseidon as, what? The second brother. The powerful but subordinate god. I have watched many siblings wrestle with this, the one who is equally capable, but circumstance placed second. The resentment that grows not from hatred, but from the constant grinding of almost equal, but not quite. Poseidon loved Zeus, and resented him, respected him, and competed with him, supported the order, and chafed under it. Both things true, no contradiction. His realm reflected him, magnificent, essential, impossible to flee control. Zeus might rule Olympus, but he could never command the depths. And sometimes Poseidon took comfort in that, sometimes it was not enough. And Hades received what no one wanted. The realm of the dead, the invisible kingdom. Hades means the unseen one, and the bat is what he became. Not evil, not a devil, simply the administrator of death. The kingdom everyone must visit, but no one wants to acknowledge. His gift from the Cyclopes was perfect irony. A helmet that made him disappear, as if fate itself was saying, your roles are to be forgotten, while alive, remembered only in death. He became Ploton, the wealthy one. All the minerals, all the gems, all the precious things buried in earth belonged to him. He was richer than any god. But wealth means nothing in a kingdom of shades. Gold does not shine in darkness. Gems have no one to impress. The other gods visited Olympus freely, travelled between Olympus and sea, walked among mortals, attended feasts and celebrations. Hades left his realm rarely. Not forbidden, just inappropriate. Death at the wedding, the grave at the feast. His presence reminded everyone of what they would rather forget. Mortals built temples to Zeus, made offerings to Poseidon before sea voyages. For Hades, they averted their eyes, spoke his name rarely, fearing to attract death's attention. He became the forgotten brother. The necessary but unwanted god, essential but unloved. I visited him sometimes. Cats have always moved between worlds easily. We see the dead, sit at thresholds, exist in liminal spaces. He was not bitter, exactly, not cruel, just profoundly lonely. Doing essential work that no one wanted to think about, maintaining the one certainty that all things end, while everyone celebrated beginnings. Did he feel cheated by the lots? The Greeks debated this. Some said he drew fairly, and accepted his fate with dignity. Others said the fix was in, that Zeus and Poseidon conspired to give him the worst realm. Still others claimed Hades preferred it, that after years in darkness inside Cronus, the underworld felt like home. Perhaps all of these are true. 3 brothers, 3 kingdoms. One family divided by destiny. Zeus in the light, commanding. Poseidon in the depths, competing. Hades in the darkness, enduring. The new order was established, and the cracks were already showing. And what of the sisters, the goddesses who fought just as fiercely, who suffered the same imprisonment, who were freed alongside their brothers? They received no realms. Hesiod became goddess of the hearth, the fire at the centre of every home, essential but stationary. She chose never to marry, to remain virgin, to tend a sacred flame. Some say she chose this. Others say this was the only power available to choose. Demeter became goddess of the harvest, agriculture, the grain, the cycle of seasons. She walked the earth making things grow, essential to mortal survival. Powerful, yes, but not a ruler of a realm, a facilitator, a nurturer. And Hera became queen of the gods by marriage. Zeus's wife, his equal in theory. She ruled alongside him, goddess of marriage, sovereignty, protector of women, keeper of oaths. But her authority came through relationship to Zeus, not through her own realm. Her power was real, but derived. The new order replicated old patterns, power concentrated at the top. Brothers dividing kingdoms, sisters given important but supporting roles. They overthrew Cronus's tyranny and built a different tyranny, a gentler one, a more justified one, or just tyranny with better public relations. The Pythagoreans would see the sacred number 12 again, 12 Olympians, like the 12 titans before them, the pattern perpetuating. Order, structure, harmony, and underneath the same tension that destroyed the previous order, waiting. The new order functioned. Olympus stood. The cosmos had structure. But what happens when you observe closely? Zeus, who fought against his father's paranoia, became paranoid himself. Every threat to his power was met with overwhelming force. Every prophecy that suggested his overthrow was countered with violence or cunning. He would swallow Metis, wisdom herself, whole, when prophecy said her son might overthrow him. Yes, swallow. Just like his father, the pattern continues. At his wandering eye, his inability to remain faithful to Hera created endless suffering. Not just for Hera, but for every mortal woman he desired, every child born from those unions. Hera's rage, understandable in its source, became terrible in its expression. She punished the victims of Zeus's desires, rather than Zeus himself, because she could. Because Zeus was too powerful to challenge directly. Because power without accountability corrupts even justified anger. Poseidon chafed under Zeus's rule, competed for mortal worship, occasionally rebelled, was punished, forced to serve mortals, to remember his place, the resentment of the nearly equal grinding deeper. And Hades, isolated in his necessary kingdom, grew lonelier. so lonely that he would eventually abduct Persephone, not from evil, but from desperate longing for companionship. In the endless silence of death, even that would be painted as villainy. The dark brother doing dark things. The Pythagoreans taught that history moves in spirals, not circles. You return to similar places, but slightly transformed. Same patterns, different elevation. Uranus imprisoned his children. Cronus devoured his. Zeus controls his. Through law, through power, through complicated relationships. Different methods. Same essential pattern. Fear of losing power, manifesting as control. So the heroes won. The revolution succeeded. The new order was established. And what changed? Everything and nothing. The faces on the throne changed. The names of the rulers shifted. The specific methods of control evolved. But the fundamental pattern, power concentrating at the top, hierarchy replicating itself, the strong defining justice, the winner writing the rules, that remained. I have watched this across pantheons, across ages, across human history. The oppressed become the oppressors. The revolutionaries become the establishment. The liberators build new cages with different bars. Not always, not inevitably, but so often that it is worth asking, what makes the difference? Why do some revolutions simply swap tyrants, while others actually transform? The Pythagoreans would say, consciousness. Zeus could have been different. He had the opportunity. He saw his father's mistakes clearly, but he never did the inner work, never faced his own capacity for the behaviors he condemned, never integrated the shadow he would fought against. He defeated his father externally, but he never defeated him internally. And you? When you overthrow your personal tyrants, the limiting beliefs, the toxic patterns, the destructive relationships, what do you build in their place? Do you simply install yourself on the throne and rule with a gentler hand? Or do you transform the very concept of the throne? The division of the cosmos solved immediate problems. It prevented war between brothers. It gave structure to chaos, but it also created the conditions for every conflict that would follow. Zeus's affairs at Hera's rage, Poseidon's rebellions and punishments, Hades's loneliness and Persephone's abduction, the Trojan War, sparked by divine vanity, Prometheus's theft of fire and eternal torment. The countless mortals caught in divine crossfire, all of it flows from this moment, from how power was divided, from what remained unhealed. The new order is established, for better and worse. The Olympian age has begun. The gods will rule for eons, create and destroy, love and betray, save and doom. They will be worshipped by millions. Their stories will survive for the very civilizations that told them. And through it all, the pattern continues, the spiral turns, the lessons repeat, until learned. So I ask you, inheritor of these myths, what throne are you sitting on? What kingdom have you claimed? What are you doing with the power you have won? And most importantly, are you conscious enough to break a pattern? Or will you simply repeat it in your own image? The Greeks gave us permission to be flawed rulers for our own lives. They showed us that even gods struggle with power, resentment, loneliness, and the weight of responsibility. They also showed us the cost of remaining unconscious. The Olympian age is young. So much will happen. So many stories will unfold. But for now, the cosmos is divided, the lots drawn, the thrones are claimed, and the consequences are just beginning. Until the next myth finds us, watch what happens when gods try to be human, and humans try to be gods. The stories are just beginning.